Hey, welcome to the 14th session for AP Calculus, a flipped classroom. Today we're going to talk about section 2.3, the product rule and the quotient rule. This will be your easiest session yet. Actually, this session deals with the product rule and the quotient rule and using the power rule for x raised to a negative power. But we've already done that, so we're only going to talk about the product rule and the quotient rule. Product rule. If you think of h of x as the product of two functions, let's say f of x times g of x, then h prime of x, the first derivative, would just be f of x times g prime of x plus g of x times f prime of x. In words, we would say it's the first function times the derivative of the second function plus the second function times the derivative of the first function. Okay? In this case, it really doesn't make any difference which order you do this. You could do second times derivative of the first plus first times derivative of the second if you like. Let's say that f of x equals x squared and g of x equals x cubed plus 5x squared plus 2x. We can think of the product of these two functions as a new function, h of x. So h of x would be x squared times the quantity x cubed plus 5x squared plus 2x. H prime of x then would be x squared, the first function, times 3x squared plus 10x plus 2, the derivative of the second function, plus x cubed plus 5x squared plus 2x, the second function, times 2x, the derivative of the first function. Simplifying that, we get h prime of x equals 5x to the fourth plus 20x cubed plus 6x squared. That's all there is to it. Quotient rule. Quotient rule is a little more difficult, but not too bad. Let's call h of x the quotient of two functions, f of x divided by g of x. Now g of x, of course, cannot be equal to 0 here. Then h prime of x would equal g of x times f prime of x minus f of x times g prime of x. That whole thing divided by g of x squared. Okay, in words, that would be the bottom times the derivative of the top function minus the top times the derivative of the bottom function, all over the bottom function squared. Example, let's let g of x equal x squared and f of x equal x cubed plus 4x squared. Then h of x would equal f of x divided by g of x. Find h prime of x. Well, h prime of x, according to the quotient rule, would be the bottom function, x squared, times the derivative of the top function, 3x squared plus 8x, minus the top function, x cubed plus 4x squared times the derivative of the bottom function, which would be 2x, all over the bottom function squared, x squared raised to the second power. This would simplify to x to the fourth over x to the fourth, which in this case equals 1. I would caution you that not all of these quotient rule problems will come out to be a constant. In this case, we just happen to choose one that does simplify to 1. You could see this if you rewrite h of x as x plus 4, which is what you would get if you actually did divide the two functions f of x by g of x, then take the derivative of h of x. You can see it would come out to be 1. Not all problems will be simplified in this way. You'll see more on your homework. And for your practice problems, which I want you to have a lot of time in class to work on, page 178 to 179, numbers 1 through 24. That's it. See you next time.